Hello and welcome to my secret underground bunker. Because Denfur was last weekend. And the falling out is upsettingly painful because, PCD and all of that jazz. Oh man. So, quick question. So, how does everyone feel about...
Do I use the cooked chicken or the raw chicken?
Oh, a joke that doesn't get old. No matter how many times it's said. Which was actually 12 times. Not even joking.
So they didn't teach you that in cooking class.
No, of course they didn't! Oh man. Hi everyone, I'm Luca.
I'm like, yeah, hi, my name is Ash.
And we run this channel.
Hi, how you doing? So yeah, Denfur was this last weekend, and we're just going to go over the things that we think were really, really good about the con, things that were professional, things that really went well, especially for its first year. And then we're also going to go over the things that could be fixed, things that we didn't like, and so on and so forth.
So one of the things that they did really good with was they were very professional. The way that the con was ran, the chairman, pretty much everything about it looked like a professional convention. The banners were really nice, the designs that they had. They also had a bunch of little props that were set aside, car rims and a pallet that had Denfur shelter. Everybody come, and if you come here, you survive.
They're like those little hampers that they have with the fans in it. They're supposed to be the flame things.
Oh yeah, that was so cute. I wanted one.
They were so simple, but I was like, I could make that myself, but I'm so glad they did that.
Yeah, they utilized what little resources they have because the theme was apocalypse, so it kind of just fit very well, actually.
So anyway, another thing that I think that they did really well is they broke records. Literally. That was something that they said at the very end in closing ceremonies, was they literally not only, what was it? Hold on. Let me try that again. Let me start over. So, another thing that I think they did really, really well was they basically broke records. So I think the highest record until Denfur for the most attended first year con was 900 some. This year, on the other hand, Denfur broke 2,000 individuals. I think the total was 2,082. So that's one of the records they broke. The other record they broke is this being their first year finally coming together and being a convention. They're already number 9 in the top 10 of all fur cons in the world.
Woo!
Yeah,
Go Colorado!
Local!
Just support local cons.
So, something that most cons do is they usually are a non-profit organization. So they basically put all of the funds that they make during this con time into an actual charity or something along those lines. Denfur, on the other hand, did it differently. They're a for-profit con, which means that they make money for themselves as an organization. A lot of people didn't like that, but I like what they did with it because they utilized the money that they got in order to make the con better, which I appreciated a lot. And you can tell mostly because of the fact that they did a lot of things differently. Say, for instance, the headless lung machines. Those were a blessing. I love those.
Those were so great.
Those were amazing. But yeah, so they put their money towards things that were actually useful to us and things that made the con better. And because of that, I appreciated it, but not only that, the chairman and everyone knew how to spend that money. They put it towards good places for the convention itself.
Speaking of the chairman putting stuff towards good places, the chairman actually donated $2,500 to the charity that we had to come to a grand total of $15,000 in charity to the Freedom Service dogs. So Freedom Service, they train dogs for for people who need service dogs, and they give them to them for free. So pretty much we raised $15,000 for this charity that give dogs to people in need for free. And that's amazing. Our other third was bawling, was just crying uncontrollably.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if you guys watched it or anything, but literally there was a girl up on stage who was crying, and Led, who is our third, quite literally is very easy to his emotions, but he's adorable with it. But, like, I was standing in the back and he just starts bawling. He's like, yeah, no, it got me. He was just crying, but it almost got this one too, and I was like...
I had to find him because I knew he was emotionally destroyed, and that cheered me up. Let's get into the bad. Don't make that face. Number 1, the lack of communication between the staff was awful. The staff was great and everything, but the staff did not tell us when we had to change rooms for panels or even tell people we weren't supposed to be in that room.
It was just kind of like, they pretended like it was supposed to be general knowledge. Or even, like, my panel was put on the main stage despite it being an FAQ panel. More or less, it's kind of like, hey, these are the things that you can or cannot be doing during a dance comp, kind of like general things to keep in mind. But we got put on the main stage, and when I told AV that in that room, it was just like, oh, you have a PowerPoint that you need to present? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, we didn't know what this panel was. And I'm like, I have a description of it, but apparently nobody said anything about what it was, despite the fact that it had its description the entire time. So there was no communication at all. It was a really bad time.
Yeah, friendly staff just couldn't communicate with any of the panel members. That was one thing that was pretty awful.
Yeah. One of the things that I was super upset about, and obviously it's for the dance competition because that's something that I was involved in, but you had to sign up for a certain category when you signed up for the dance comp, and that was novice or veteran, or of course groups. But groups kept its kind of own thing going somehow and for some reason. But for some reason, novice and veteran got merged together, which was so unfair to our first timers, which I find so unfair and so aggravating, because it's like, you know, we have these first timers who are out there who are excited about trying out for something that they're probably really passionate about, but then they got put up against the most veteran of veterans in this dance competition, because we had pop-offers who were there. You know, we had people who had been in many, many different dance competitions, and all of a sudden these tiny children who are literally there for like the first time in their lives to any either fur con or dance comp. It's like, I don't know, it was just a very unfair situation to the first-timers that we had. So, I don't know if it was because we didn't have enough dancers or what, but I feel like this was just unfair to our first-timers. And I really, really hope that they get to come back next year, and I hope that they're not intimidated by that, and I hope that we get to fix this next year, because it was one of the worst things that I think could have ever happened in the entirety of a dance comp, was the fact that we pinned our first-timers against veterans unfairly and randomly without any communication whatsoever.
Yes, Slimeade, please come back.
Slimeade, you're my child and I have adopted you. Please come back.
We love you. Oh my god, I cheered you on.
You were literally the best, and I hope it didn't, like, I knew you were nervous, but literally I hope you come back, because I want to see where you go.
That would be amazing.
You're my child.
I'll be trying out.
Yeah, you will.
I don't want to go against Y. Oh, I gotta put a squeaker. Oh no! I don't want to be squeaked.
the ultimate squeaking.
Otter squeakings. Slimeade.
My child.
We brought you up again because you mean a lot to us.
We've been talking about you a lot, and not in like a bad way, but we're just like, oh my god, they're so sweet, they're so cute, oh my god.
And even Y tried to find you.
I did. I was like looking for you so desperately on Sunday. I was like, I really want to talk to them, make sure they had a good time. Oh my gosh. Anyway, if you guys find Limeade, please link them to me. Please, I want to talk to them, make sure they had a good time, and, okay. Anyway, so.
Last but not least, it's our con venue! Woo! Just kidding. The con venue that we had at RMFC 2016 was horrible.
And then we brought it back. We tried to rebuild off of something that was supposed to stay dead. So I guess what we could do is go on to what could be fixed, because of the fact that we've gone on about what we don't like and what we do like, but professionally we should go on to what can be fixed and what should be fixed to make the next year better.
I would have to say first starting off is communication with your panels. Definitely, if you're going to like tell them like, hey, I need you to move to a different room, or instead of them being like, you're not in this room. It's like, wait, no, it says here on the schedule that I'm in this room, and you guys are moving it now. It's kind of unfair to us because now we pretty much told like if for like your panel and like for my panel, like, for example, we probably told our friends and wanted them to come see us for our panels, but now they've gotten false information about the specific room that we're in. So that's something that I definitely would want to see next year.
I think could be fixed is air conditioning.
Oh my god. I forgot that was a bullet point, and that is not a joke.
It was so bad. Okay, so I've heard people say that like the headless lounge is really nice and it was easy to cool off in it, but for some reason the venue itself was so hot, I could hardly suit that entire time. And keep in mind, my suit is like full digigrade and whatnot, and it has a lot of bulk to it. And because of that, my suit does not ventilate well. But for some reason, this con was so hot, like even out of suit, I could not walk around a whole lot because it was just so hot.
Yeah, and it's saying one thing if a suitor is hot, because, suits are hot in general. But, like, even for me, I was, like, dying. And I'm not a fan of heat, so that's a factor that could go into that. But at the same time, like, I was sweating just standing. And that's something that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and I side with that. I don't like the cold, and I like being warm, but that was ridiculous. And I feel like next year's they should really, really improve the air conditioning, because for suitors, I can only imagine how bad that was. Actually, no, I can't, because I was a suitor, so it was really bad.
Another thing that I want to say that can be fixed is definitely panel placements. So, like, the improv panel of the Unmentionables, we have always been a big, huge thing at RMFC, and now that we're at Denfur, like, they still put us in the smaller room. So I feel like if you need to, like, go through and talk to the people who submit panels, make sure you know what the panels are before you even put them into a specific room. Like,
just have that communication you need.
In Ash's panel being a FAC panel, there was a couple people that showed up, mostly people who wanted to, like, learn dancing, which is what her panel was about. But still, they had, Ash in the big, like, dance room.
Yeah, they had me on the main stage, but they didn't communicate with their AV, they didn't communicate with anyone, they just kind of assumed that it would be a good place there, which is unfortunate because of the fact that it literally took us 30 minutes to set up after we realized that things were not the way they should be. So I think a good way to communicate with the people who are running the panels and the people who assign where these panels should go should have an understanding of where these go and what numbers they bring in, because of the fact that, say for instance, your panels, you guys have done that several times, you guys do VLFC. If they could just be like, hey, so have you done this panel before? Yes. How many does it usually bring in? A lot. Oh, cool. We'll put you in a secondary main stage.
I think we had 100 people that showed up to our panel, which is 5% of the people that came to the convention. Doesn't seem like a lot, but for that room size, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Don't worry, number 2. You'll always be my number 1. Make sure that you guys go to Denfur 2019. Come on, support Colorado. We lost RMFC and now we just brought one back and you guys didn't come. Or for you that did, you guys came. Great. Bring more people. Bring your friends. Bring your family. Well, maybe.
Can we get 3,000 people?
We just need 1,000 more. We're already 9th. So if we can get an extra 1,000 people, we will already be at 7th. Right under further confusion. We would beat Euro friends. And that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go to Europe?
Euro trash.
If you haven't yet, make sure to check out our BLFC video. It's not exciting, but you do get to see a lot of Y and friends. But our BLFC video is going to be right here. What's that called? A Splash of Fuzz is going to be right below me. And if you haven't watched that yet, it's going to be an ongoing series, and you should probably watch it because it's going to be funny, and furries are going to try things that they don't really want to try, like ranch dressing or mustard. Make sure to subscribe. That'd be really cool. Support us so that way, we can just have more motivation to make different kind of videos.
Yeah, we'll sit down and do the job that we wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah. So make sure to do that.
This medium rare. What's medium rare?
It's not when it's pink on me. It's a mix between both.
Reverse.
It's a mix between both. What's medium rare? No, of course they didn't. So do I use the cooked chicken or the raw chicken? I can't figure it out.